how do you practice? How did you actually, I know that we talked about a step-by-step process. Sever, like cut the cords or sever the ties. Did you feel a need to do that completely where there, these family members are no longer in your life, or are there other ways to do it in not such a like way where it's like, okay, I'll never speak to you again? What do you say about that?
It's it depends on the person. It depends on what you're going to feel comfortable with. Sometimes you have to have a conversation, and sometimes people do just abruptly leave. Sometimes you can fade from someone's life if you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to have an actual conversation or confrontation. With me, I completely cut out my father with a conversation. I was in my teen years. With my mother, I told her, all the issues that we had between each other and why she couldn't be in my life. So that was an actual conversation. With my sister, it was more of a fading away, in that she kept doing horrible things. Actually, it wasn't a fading away. She kept doing horrible things, and I kept calling her out on those things.
Right.
And but she called me on my birthday this past January, and we spoke for about 3 hours, and we hadn't spoken in years. And she,
Wow.
she had a sober moment. She was sober. And so
Right.
I've always told her, I will talk to you when you're sober. I've always told her that. And so she had a sober moment, and she called me. And I'm glad we cried, we caught up.
Oh, yeah.
But now she's back to where she was before.
Okay.
And I think that, you have to figure out, you have to really assess the situation, assess the relationship for what it has truly been. This is not a time for delusion. This is not a space for sugarcoating. You have to be 100% honest with
Hmm.
yourself about
Hmm.
the history that you've had with a person that you're
Right.
considering, whether or not to cut them off or create boundaries. Now, boundaries are created between people that there is a mutual level of respect. They hear you, you hear them. You can negotiate boundaries whenever there's a level of respect. When someone is manipulative, when someone has proven themselves to be consistently harmful to you, you do not create a dynamic where they can keep hurting you. Now,
Of course.
people who are manipulative, people who gaslight, people who are narcissists, they don't respect your boundaries, but you still set them anyway. You still express them. You create them and you express them, because what it does for you is it creates that line in the sand that says, I say you can't do this and still have access to me. And when you do these things, I cut off access, and I can point to, these are the things I told you you cannot do, and say you did them anyway. That is why we don't connect with each other. So
Yeah.
it's important to create the boundary, even though that person will probably disrespect them, ignore them. You need to express what it is, what your level of connection is going to be, what they can and cannot do with you. You express it anyway, because sometimes you need to do that for you to prove to yourself that you tried, you did all that you could. Now, some people don't even, they have to earn that. Some people don't even earn that. Some people don't deserve that, because they've done so many horrible things. They don't necessarily deserve that level of communication from you. It's just done.